Hi everyone, thanks for being here on this Child Protection Party YouTube channel. Before we start with this particular announcement, which is around domestic violence, I just want to suggest that one of the things you might like to do is subscribe to our channel, share our videos, ring the bell for further notification, do what you need to do in order to let others know that the Child Protection Party is here representing you and particularly representing the needs of children. So today I'm going to play a reasonably large segment of an interview with Tanya Plibersek, which aired on the Sunday program on the ABC. Now, I'm playing this to you because Tanya talks about what the Labor government is doing in relation to helping people escaping domestic violence. And the information she provides is important. And this is critical to understand in relation to the safety of children, the safety of mothers. Escaping domestic violence impacts the children greatly. And the more governments can do in order to assist women when they're escaping is a good thing. And Tanya here outlines some of the things that they're doing within the Labor Party, which comes into effect in a couple of days. And it's important for all of you to understand what these changes are, how they will impact you, and what more needs to be done. And at the end of this, Tanya also talks about the social media, misogyny, and other issues that sit in our community in relation to how children access unhelpful information. So it's worth watching. It's worth noting that if you know of someone who is about to be escaping domestic violence, then it is an important notification, I guess, as to what's required or what will be, the way the government is dealing with it, which will help you and help save the lives of not just women but children as well. And it's worth noting that at this point there have been something like 39 women killed at the hands of their partners this year. So more than one a week, a woman gets killed by her partner. And one can only imagine the devastating effect that has on the rest of the family and particularly on children who lose their mother. So this is an important video. So remember to subscribe, remember to ring the bell for further notifications. Make yourself a part of this child protection community. So this is the video that I was referring to, and I'll just play it through and we'll talk about it perhaps when we get to the end.
Particularly on domestic violence, the $5,000 payment for women fleeing a violent relationship, it was introduced as a trial by the Morrison government. That now will become a permanent scheme. $5,000 obviously doesn't go as far as it did some years ago. Is it enough, do you think, to help victims who are making that difficult decision on whether they can leave a violent relationship?
Well, the first thing to say is too often where there's domestic violence, people say, why didn't she leave? When they should be asking, where would she go? This $5,000 is not the only assistance available, but it's a very important start. Like if you're making a decision about whether you can pack the kids up in the middle of the night and walk out the door, knowing that you've got access to money that will help you with the groceries, furniture, or if you're staying home and the violent partner's been removed, help you change the locks or put in some security cameras, that absolutely makes a difference. We know that women go back to violent relationships because they can't afford to leave. So making that permanent is a really important first step. We're also doubling the National Partnership on Family, Domestic and Sexual Violence. So from the 1st of July, funding to frontline services will increase substantially. The Commonwealth contribution to that funding is doubled. We're investing about $4.4 billion in 122 measures in family, domestic and sexual violence since 2022. And that means there is more assistance becoming available. Is it enough? I will never say it's enough until we stop losing exposing women and children to violence in the family home. I'll never say that we are doing enough.
And
but
that's
we
the thing,
are
isn't it? I
making
mean,
a substantial difference.
Yeah.
And sorry, one other thing I should say about this payment, David, is it's not the only financial assistance available either. There are emergency relief payments and there are other payments available. This is a start. This is the thing that gives you the confidence that you can walk out and there'll be some help available to you very quickly. It also comes with safety planning and counselling and other supports as well. And of course, we're investing $1 billion in crisis and transitional housing for women and children who are escaping domestic violence. I went to a fantastic, beautiful new refuge opened just recently by the Muslim Women's Association.
This is the thing, though, you point to never resting until those numbers come down, because the numbers clearly are still so concerning. 36 women have been killed so far this year, according to Australian Femicide Watch. That's more than one a week. And on top of that, an estimated more than 1,000 women are turned away from legal services every week because there's just not enough capacity. So are there more measures that you're looking at considering beyond what you've just spoken to there?
Oh, absolutely. And you might recall that when Mark Dreyfus was Attorney General, he very substantially increased funding to family violence legal supports and other legal services that support women who are getting the advice they need to safely leave a violent relationship. We will continue to work right across government to do that, in legal services, in housing, in my own portfolio for those frontline services. Okay. And we need to work with states and territories as well. This is not just a question for the Commonwealth government.
I was going to ask you about states and territories, because there's this story this morning about technology being used for coercive control. So things like, a smart fridge being locked or a thermostat being turned up and down, and these sorts of, can be really menacing things as well. Some states have brought in laws, others haven't. Is the federal government going to put some pressure on the laggards to do more?
Yeah, so most states either have coercive control laws or are working on them. And there's been some really important work done by the Standing Committee of Attorneys General to try and make those laws more uniform to show what best practice is in coercive control laws, because the early states that moved, of course, the technology moves on so quickly. So we see more abuse, like financial abuse using banking systems. We see more hidden tracking devices. We see more use of electronic devices to spy on or control. We need to keep updating our laws, because the way that abuse is happening continues to evolve. And one other thing I guess I'd say about this, David, is we're doing an enormous amount. The frontline people who are working in domestic, family and sexual violence are an incredible workforce. They're working extraordinarily hard. We're backing them to do that. We continue to do more, but there are all these countervailing forces in society as well. So you see these young men being fed a diet of violent, misogynistic pornography, that they are seeing, rape in pornography before they've had their first kiss. Unless we really work with young boys and men in particular to challenge some of the ideas about what healthy relationships look like or what a good relationship looks like, we're not going to succeed. If all we're focused on is helping women safely leave violent relationships, we're going to keep doing the same thing. We have to do that. We have to do that better. But we have to change the attitudes that allow this violence to happen in the first place.
That's a good point. Look, finally, you've been critical.
So I think it's important to understand a couple of things here. If you know of someone who's who's in a violent relationship, then I suggest that you encourage that they go and contact the domestic violence helpline, that they seek help immediately, because there are a range of services that are now being offered that are integral in helping a woman escape a violent and abusive relationship. The most important aspect of this, I think, is not only are they increasing the funding for services, but they are also providing $5,000 for a woman that is planning to leave. And that money could be used in a range of areas. It could be used in terms of putting a deposit down for rental. It could be used in terms of securing a home if she's staying within that home. It could be used for legal advice. it could be used for a range of areas. So if you know of somebody who's trying to escape domestic violence, then now is probably the best time. There's never a better time, but now is the best time to do it, because I think there are services now being in place that are designed to help you to do so. So make sure that you are listening to your friends, that you're aware of the situations that they're in. Remember that domestic violence is often one of these issues that's held, you know, it's supposed to be one of those secrets that we hold because it's about families. But, you know, if we know that something's happening to somebody and they're in a coercive relationship, then we should speak up. That is our right, that is our obligation to our friends, and that's our obligation to their children. So get involved. This is the time when most people should make a stand against domestic violence. So subscribe to our channel, ring the bell for further notifications, take note of everything that Tanya Plibersek said, because it has value and it means the system is changing. We can't continue to have men behaving as they are, so that at the end of the day, more and more women are being killed at their hands. There are means of escaping now from those relationships, and we need to endorse them. So make sure that you tell others about this video, get them to watch it, and hopefully it will make a change. In the meantime, take care, look after yourselves, look after those people that you love. See you next time. Bye.
Children's lives are important, and we at the Child Protection Party want the best outcome for all children.